Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, today we are diving into something absolutely wild. We're unpacking a really bizarre viral incident that went down right around 1 a.m. and somehow, literally out of nowhere, sparked this massive, super polarized debate online. We're going to look at how a grainy 20-second security clip basically turned into a nationwide conversation about economics, ethics, and the insane power of social media. To kick things off, let's just look at this one reaction from the source article, because I think it perfectly nails the sheer absurdity of what we're looking at today. A user commented, "Temple tap theft was definitely not on anyone's 2026 bingo card." And I mean, they're spot on, right? In an era of high-tech cybercrimes, stealing a literal public water tap just feels completely out of left field. But honestly, it's that extreme simplicity that makes the whole public reaction to this so incredibly fascinating. All right, let's jump straight into Section 1, the viral temple theft. So, according to a clip that blew up on X, posted by the account at Gar K. Kalesh, this whole thing went down near Delhi Road in Hapur over in Uttar Pradesh. The footage shows a food delivery rider pulling up on his motorcycle in the dead of night. And the detail that instantly caught the internet's eye, the guy's reportedly rocking a Zomato t-shirt. He parks right next to these water taps installed outside a local temple, and what happens next is just, well, it's bold, to say the least. Which brings us to Section 2, the late-night timeline. The video lays out a super quick chain of events. At exactly 1 a.m., the rider rolls up, quickly unscrews one of the temple's water tops, literally drops it into his food delivery box, and just takes off. But here's the crazy part. He wasn't done. Exactly 20 minutes later, at 1:20 a.m., the same guy allegedly comes back for round 2. He tries to rip off a second tap, but this time it doesn't budge, so he gives up and finally leaves for good. It's just a swift, two-part heist, all caught on camera. Now hold on a second. There is a super important disclaimer in the original Times of India article that we absolutely need to talk about. They explicitly note that the identity of the guy in the video and the actual details of what went down have not been independently verified by their team. This is a massive media literacy check for us. It's a great reminder that when something goes viral, we're usually analyzing internet claims and the public's reaction to those claims, rather than cold, hard, adjudicated facts. We are literally watching a digital phenomenon unfold in real time. Okay, moving right along to Section 3, the internet's divided reaction. Because wow, did this split the internet right down the middle? We're talking two totally opposing camps here. On one side, you've got the economic desperation argument. These folks are looking at the clip as a tragic symptom of a completely broken system, where gig workers are just pushed to the brink. On the flip side, you have the law and order crowd. Their stance is, hey, a crime is a crime, and stealing public property, especially from a temple, needs to be met with strict punishment, no excuses. Let's zoom in on that first perspective for a sec. A lot of users were commenting from a place of real empathy. Just look at this quote. "Imagine how poor the economy and conditions are for low-wage workers that someone had to steal a public water tap just to sell it and survive." They're basically begging people to zoom out and look at the macro picture, asking what kind of system and leadership pushes a gig worker to literally steal a faucet just to make it through the week. To them, he's not some mastermind criminal, he's a victim of brutal economic realities. But you scroll down a bit and people are firing right back. The vibe here is all about civic duty and maintaining order. One person wrote, "Public property stealing should be strictly punished, else it is very difficult to control in our country." For this group, context doesn't suddenly erase the crime. They're arguing that if we start excusing the theft of public or religious property just because times are tough, we're setting a really dangerous precedent. It's all about sticking to the rules to avoid total chaos. You know what's really fascinating, though? Not everyone picked a side. You had a bunch of people actively wrestling with both ideas at the exact same time. Like, check out this comment. "Stealing public property should be punishable offense, but look at it from other perspective. How poor that guy might be." It's so interesting, right? You're watching people's internal conflict play out right there in the comment section. They're totally torn between this internal demand for justice and just basic human compassion for a guy who might be desperate. And look, it wouldn't be the internet without a heavy dose of sarcasm. Some folks went straight for the dark humor, pointing out the absolute irony of pulling off a heist while literally wearing a delivery uniform. One user actually tagged the company and wrote, "Congratulations at Zomato, you have very hardworking and well-trained workers." Others were pointing out that stealing for a few bucks is bad enough, but using the actual company delivery bag as a stash box, that takes some serious audacity. Let's wrap things up with Section 4, beyond the CCTV footage. So what's the actual takeaway here? The source article lays out a few points that go way beyond just a missing faucet. First off, cameras are literally everywhere now. Local, petty acts get exposed to the entire world in seconds. Second, just seeing that gig economy uniform was enough to spark an instant, massive debate about the very real struggles of low-wage workers. And finally, it really shows how social media can take a 20-second, totally unverified clip and instantly transform it into a nationwide debate about poverty, leadership, and public responsibility. Which brings us to our final, big question for you to ponder. In an age of viral surveillance, does a bizarre 1 a.m. theft actually highlight our broken socioeconomic systems? Or does it just expose our absolute rush to judge unverified clips online? It's a pretty wild thought about how we consume media and project our own anxieties onto 20 seconds of blurry footage. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me for today's Explainer, and remember, always question what you're seeing on your feeds.